Hello everyone, my name is Ray Bowman and this is my Week 3 Multimedia discussion for MPA 545, Conflict Resolution and Labor Negotiations. As a brief overview of today's presentation, I'll discuss the key concepts discussed in this section, focusing on mediation, a full-text article discussion of the author referenced in our Eisenhart and Spangel textbook, which is Landsberger, an article that referenced Landsberger's work, some insights, of course, a list of references, and my closing. So Chapter 4 of our Eisenhart and Spangel textbook focuses on the process of mediation, and it really defines mediation as the process by which a third party, an impartial third party, guides disputants through a discussion with the goal of settling their dispute. Chapter 4 discusses processes, methods, core values, and core principles that successful mediators have, but it also provides the following traits, which are a sense of humor, their ability to act unobtrusively, their ability to convey being concerned, their patience and persistence, and of course, their capabilities of being knowledgeable about the specific subject area that they are mediating. And this section of the book references Landsberger's work from 1956, and the author is Henry A. Landsberger, and the work that Eisenhart and Spangel are referencing is titled A Final Report on a Research and Project Mediation. And essentially, this body of work was supposed to determine whether psychological tests could measure the traits that are desirable in a successful mediator. Based on the metrics of this research, there are specific qualities that they were trying to measure through various tests, and those qualities were originality of ideas, sense of humor, which is referenced in our Eisenhart and Spangel book, including the ability to act unobtrusively, their capacity to be one of us, their ability to inspire respect, their willingness to be a salesman when needed, control over their feelings, and a positive, persistent, and patient attitude towards mediation, in addition to their ability to understand complexities of the dispute, the mediation, and their knowledge of labor negotiations. Initially, they wanted to determine whether their psychological tests could measure these specific traits, but they found a few factors that essentially skewed their rating system, such as the halo effect. So in essence, they pivoted and instead wanted to measure the extent that tests could indicate or predict a good mediator against a group of mediators, essentially. What they found is that a combination of tests could essentially predict a good mediator, but that there's no one test that could present the perfect mediator candidate in a dispute situation. And Landsberger's work has been cited and used by a variety of other authors and researchers, and one of those authors is Ansgar M. Wimmer. And Wimmer's work is called The Jolly Mediator, Some Serious Thoughts About Humor. And the author in this article really explored the pros and cons of appropriate sense of humor within successful mediation. So the author had interviewed 10 successful mediators in the Boston area and came up with a list of pros and cons for why humor could be used as a successful tool in mediations. So a few of the pros, of course, are humor can be used to break the ice, to relieve some tension, walking into the mediation process, and of course, to reduce the threat levels of the mediation process itself, thereby, people becoming less afraid of approaching the mediation table and openly discussing their needs. It can also get ahead of negative emotions when used timely, but of course, a few factors are important. Mediators, in their use of their sense of humor, need to be thoughtful about the timing of their humor, the ethical implications of being jovial and humorous, and of course the fact that it can cause power imbalances if used inappropriately. So, what are some insights gathered from Landsberger's work and Wimmer's work? Well, being a successful mediator involves many different factors. It's almost like a balancing act. And there are core values to successful mediations provided in our Eisenhart and Spengel textbook, namely impartiality, empathy, the importance of confidentiality, and of course, mediation skills. Also, there's not one test that can determine whether somebody will be a good mediator versus another. It really depends on the situation. And mediators are ultimately a communication bridge between disputing parties. And if used appropriately, humor can be used to leverage towards successful mediations. Here are the list of references used for this week's presentation. And with that, I'd like to thank you for your time and have a great day.